So hello, good night and welcome to another review of The Shield Dude in the Couch. So tonight I'm going to be talking about the new Allegaeon album called Damnum. And that album came out just a few days ago, last Friday. And it's an album that in Latin, Damnum means loss. And for this album, this is a band that is very known for a lot of sci-fi topics and, otherworldly type of content, but with this album they focus more on more personal lyrics this time, focusing on loss. Especially there's some deep songs here, reflecting on everything that has happened, in the last year. So they touch on suicide and very, deep subjects that they haven't touched on before as a band. And to me that makes this an album, a more relatable album, but serious topics, that before more sci-fi, space things, which the band was known for. But obviously they changed that up with this album. So this album has 12 songs. It lasts a little bit like an hour, but it's an album that flows pretty quickly. So even though it's long, you don't feel that it's that long. And the songs, something that I like about this album is that the songs are pretty long, but they're long, but they go fast, but they take their time to build. They don't rush anything with this album. Every song has elements from, obviously they are a technical death metal band, but they have prog elements to it. And there's more elements that surprise me with this album. For example, on songs like Bastards of the Earth, they start the album really slow with some, it sounds like flamenco style Spanish guitars, which they have used before in the past. But I think on this album, they blended more seamlessly, more effortlessly and organic. And it creates, it blends into the style that they try to create. And Bastards of the Earth starts this way and starts building, and then it goes full-blown technical death metal. And something that I really like about that song in particular is like he changes from the technical, more death metal vocals to more prog-like singing, because in this album there's a lot of singing mixed with those type of vocals, and they as a band didn't used to do this. They did it on the previous album. I can't remember the name right now. That previous album, it escapes my mind. But they started to, the singer Riley McShane started to do those type of vocals in that album that came out a few years ago, and he implements it more on this release. And to me, I think that gives the songs more dynamic. I really love the style of clean singing that he's doing. He's got a great range, and it's a shame that he started doing it a few years ago, and because it really complements the songs and it gives the technicality, like obviously some like technical death metal, like more guttural vocals or more raw vocals are nice, but when you can do the combination of that with the cleans, I think it makes for me personally a better experience. And this album does this perfectly, like I said before. And the singles that they released, first they released Into Embers, which is a great song to release as a first single, because I think it's a song that gives every element that is in this album is in this song. There's the technicality, there's great guitar riffing on this song, there's something that this album has in spades. Every song has some great soloing, and they're not solos. There's some songs like you're like, oh yes, I'm a great guitar, I need to put the solo in here. They don't feel forced. They feel like they complement the songs. And Into Embers is a song that has some great solos on it. It has some great singing, some very deep lyrics, and also I love the chorus when he sings in a clean verse. I think that's the most memorable part of the song. And it's catchy, it stays in your head. So that's something that I really enjoyed about Into Embers. And Of Beasts and Worms, which was the other single that they released prior to release date, is also great. It's another song that it's like a 6, almost 7 minute song, but it goes through peaks and valleys. It has the slower side mixed with the harder side. It has some great soloing, some great singing on it, and also another highlight on me on this album is the new drummer that they have, Jeff Salzman. Oh my God. The drums in this album are simply top notch. You know, they complement so well. Like, I think he's a great addition to the band. And something that they did for this album is that they work more in conjunction, like everyone creating. I think they didn't used to do that before. And it shows. This shows that this is an album that was created like people that were working together, creating, honing their craft. And it really shows on this phenomenal release from this band that I must say that I used to listen to them, but I think this album is the best that they have put out yet. You know, the sky's the limit, and I think that the songs sound very polished, they sound very imminent, and I like how they blend the different styles of more technicality with the prog elements, and they just seem to go so well. There's like song like Blight that has a piano that it really complements the song. It's like it's in the middle of the song, and then all of a sudden you have that piano, but it does not sound out of place. It sounds like it should be there. And that's the thing with this album. Everything that they do seems like it fits, and that's why I think it's such a potent album that I think has great replay value as you listen to it. And there's other songs that have the Spanish like flamenco, like on Fruitopor and Silence, which is To Carry My Grief, sorry, Fruitopor and Silence. I know it's a long title. That song, in the middle of the song, it has like a part where it's like a flamenco soloing, and it sounds so beautiful, it sounds so great, and it really lets you know that these are great musicians at the top of their game on this album. Other highlight that to me was the Dopamine Void. The Dopamine Void has a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1 is more building for part 2. And in part 2, there's some vocals there that I can just describe it as the Cookie Monster on speed. Because it's like, and it's so fast, so potent. And then he goes with the clean vocals. And I must tell you, it's quite impressive, like how Riley McShane does that, like how she changes from the cleans to the, you know, more harsh vocals, like effortlessly. And he shines in this album immensely. Also, the lyrical content, as I mentioned before, is really strong. And I think since it's more personal, dealing about all those issues with loss, I think people will connect to it more, especially with the type of years that we've been having. And I think when music does that, it just goes on another level. So to me, if I had to mention flaws about this album, maybe there's a few songs that maybe there's a little bit rough repetition, but to me, this is a brilliant album, and it's an album that really you need to listen to it and appreciate it, because it's just great musicianship all around. So what did you think about this album? Did you like it? You didn't like it? Comment, let's talk about it and chat. And you know, it's so good to, you know, talk and discuss music. And if you like what I'm putting out, you know, give me a like. Likes are free. Subscribe if you like what you're doing, and help me, you know, keep it growing, because I plan on bringing more content, more interviews. So until the next time, the Shield on the Couch, I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.